Hey, welcome back to Two Ski Geeks. It's your boy. I'm your boy Will Call, and happy to be with you on the last Sunday of May and Memorial Day weekend of 2024. Um, I'm just going to do like a little bagging and boarding session. I didn't record with you guys last week, and I apologize. Actually, I was very busy getting a whole bunch of stuff, and as you see this pile in front of me. Um, and there's also a big pile to the side. I may want to turn down this light a little bit, but there's a big pile to the side of me that needs bagging and boarding. And so it's just going to be a bagging and boarding with some of the stuff session that with some of the stuff I've gotten over the last few weeks, mail call or going to the comic book store. God knows I done spent way too much money um, between comic books at the from mail call and or at the comic book store. So um, for sure, I will be slowing down on the procurement in June. It's just been just way too much money spent on these books. Had a good time, but yeah. So I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that I procured in that time frame. And as you can see from my shirt, is somewhat of a theme with the one of the latest and hottest books that of the newest books that came out last week, which was Doom. Uh, and this book here, I guess I can should take it out of the protection here. If I can get the tape to go, thank you. Um, Doom. This is the 1 for 100 Virgin variant for Doom #1. And so I'm going to hold that right there for now and then pull out the trade dress book cover of Doom. And so, of course, this one 1 for 100, it was a more expensive book. I ordered it in advance before it came out. I think I ordered it about a month and a half ago when I knew it was coming out, and fell in love. This is the Adi Granoff cover, and this is the trade dress book, and this is the Virgin variant. There's also Sanford Green is the internal artist, inside artist. He has the regular A cover, and it might be somewhere in the pile here, or it might be out in the living room. I may not have it here for the Sanford Green cover, and there is um oh there's a female, a 1 for 25 artist, and I can't think of her name, but that one should be on its way here. I don't think I have it yet, but I am a huge fan of Doctor Doom. I mean, huge. I think he's my favorite villain of all time. We had some friends of mine, we had a discussion about that last week, our favorite villains. And so I said top five, Doom, Brainiac, the Joker, uh, Darkseid, and then Lex Luthor. And those are my top five villains. I don't know who yours are. You can leave it in the comments as who you think. But my friends, they put Darkseid at the top, saying he's the greatest of all time. I'm like, eh. But and I love Darkseid. Don't get me wrong. I love Darkseid as a villain. It's just uh, I think it's kind of hard to use Darkseid, or sometimes I guess it be overused with Darkseid, and but it's a hard villain to use in the DC universe. And then there's so many other great villains in the DC universe that have been, I mean, like of that stature and power, um, in comparison to Darkseid. I mean, you got the Anti-Monitor as well. And so these are almost like forces of nature, villains that have their own agenda for whatever reason to shake up the DC universe. But it's they're fun villains. And so anyway, let's get to the business of showing you guys some of the stuff I've gotten, and then I'll get to bagging and boarding. So I already put the Dune stuff. So this was Nita Hawes' Nightmare blog. This is number 6, and it's signed by Rodney Barnes and Jason Sean Alexander. I bought a whole lot books, and lot means a group of the same title book. So I bought a lot of Nita Hall's Nightmare blog. Uh, and this is like my second run, but I didn't have all of this. I didn't have all of the this type cover with the Nightmare blog with the I can't think of what the I can't think of the name of the original um, blog that had this look like a newspaper type thing. But anyway, so this is number 4, and all of these were signed and autographed by Rodney and Sean. Number 3, and then number 2, and finally number 1. And as you know, I've seen in some of the other earlier shows, probably about almost 2 years ago, I bought a Virgin variant from Jason Sean Alexander's website directly that he signed. And then I got Rodney to sign it too. And got that and sent that to CBCS to get graded. I think it was I think it was a nine. I think it was a 9.8. It was a 9.8, came back as a 9.8. And then a Virgin variant. I'm sorry, a blank variant of the and one of these days if I ever get a chance to meet Jason Shaw, I mean I'll pay him to do like an original on this one. So one of these days we'll see if I can run across him at a comic book show and pay him to do some artwork for me. And then finally, this is a variant on number 1, kind of like a spin-off on the Cthulhu uh, by H.P. Lovecraft, the monster of Cthulhu. I'm not sure if I'm saying that, but I know it's Cthulu uh, of H.P. Lovecraft, and I love that cover. There's one more cover, one more uh, variant that I want to get. It's a throwback or an homage cover to one of the 1950s suspense thriller horror books or whatever. There's one more that I want to get, and it's hard to find. I'll put a picture of it into the edits as I get ready when I edit and put this out, but it is a hard to find variant. Um, I've been looking for like 3 or 4 weeks now, cannot find it yet. Hopefully one pops up in the wild somewhere that I can procure. But that variant is straight ghost. I wish I had it, but I don't have it. Um, I bought this Superman. This is one on the latest run of Superman, number 11. Joshua Williams is the writer, and that's Jamal, oh, what's Jamal's last name? It'll come to me is the cover artist. Jamal Campbell. Jamal Campbell is the cover artist on Superman. Uh, then we got this Wonder Woman. I thought this was just a cool cover. I love the way the bands and the waistband are glowing, even though it's not a glow in the dark cover, but I just love the way they've got that depicted. I just thought it was a cool cover. So I picked it up. Um, it's Action Comics, and I'm always just a fan of Bizarro. And Jason Aaron uh, is the latest writer on Action Comics. He took the reins from Philip Kennedy Johnson. When Philip Kennedy Johnson stopped writing, and Jason Aaron is the current writer. But yeah, cool Bizarro cover. And then I've got one of the latest Bonds, number 350. This is a regular cover. I think I got like 2 or 3 copies of this. Anyway, and then this Amazing Spider-Man, part of the gang war storyline. I may have shown this to you guys in the previous, but anyway, these are books that have been laying around very close to me. And I've already shown you Doom. And then we've got Ultimate Black Panther, the Boss Logic cover. Love this one here. Boss Logic he's doing a full run of variants on Ultimate Black Panther. I've got all the variants done by Boss Logic. He's an incredible artist as well, cover artist. I don't know if he does interiors or not. That I'm not sure of. And finally, Because these are all bagged and boarded. This is Detective Comics. This is number 1082. On the run done by Ram V is the writer. And and if you haven't read, and I've said it many, many, many times on this show, Ram V is just smoking the story on Detective Comics. You should and must read that. It is incredibly good. It's very dark, uh, and it's kind of sort of tied into loosely tied into the Court of Owls, but in that kind of dark supernatural aspect of the Court of Owls, and also with when they did the death metal DC death metal, the demon Barbatos, uh, that was a dark demon side of Batman. It's all tied in somewhat loosely to the history of Gotham City, supernatural demons, you name it, it's all in there. And he crafts a phenomenal story. It's he's been doing, I think he's been writing for about 20, 25 issues now. Um, do yourself a favor and get those books in your hand, in your brain, because they're phenomenal. Okay. Then I bought this graded book of this graded variant 9.8 of Philadelphia number one. It's the Francisco Matina cover uh, of Philadelphia. I don't know how much the glare is going to bother you, but I love the vampires hanging upside down of on this cover. And I did not have this variant. I have all the variants now of Philadelphia. And as you know, of course, is Rodney Barnes and Jason Sean Alexander again. And I love, love, love having this in my collection as a 9.8 Virgin variant of Philadelphia number one by Francisco Matina. So very cool to have. And if I can get that Philadelphia book that I was talking about, and then get it graded, I my happiness will be complete with the Rodney Barnes piece. So, so I love that dude, and I love Jason Sean Alexander. They're doing incredible things so far. It's in the horror genre. I picked this up as well by Arthur Sweetum, Savage Tales. Arthur Sweetum is the cover artist. This is a few years old. I think this book probably came out in the mid early 2000s, before 2010. Beautiful cover, as you can tell. Arthur Sweetum, normally known for the zombie covers. As of late in the last 20 years, he did a lot of zombie covers, but also known for drawing women in a glorious way. He's a tremendous talent. So don't and Sweetum is Suydham, Sweetum. Fantastic guy. So when you see the is he on? It's barely legible. There it is down at the bottom. His name is there, and there it is. DAM, not DHAM, but it's SUYDAM. Phenomenal artist, cover artist, and for sure. And it does internals as well. He's been around for a long time. He's one of those old school artists who's been around probably almost 20, about 20 years or so, maybe longer. I picked up this Night Stalkers, just because it was a Blade tie-in, and if you're not tracking it, I did a show about 2 or 3 shows ago with Blood Hunt, and I had the horror cover with Thor's head being decapitated and being carried around. Well, this Blood Hunt story line is a fantastic Blade story, and so I just like this cover. It's somewhat tied in this old Night Stalkers, and it's number 16, and this is back from the 1990s. And I just wanted to have this cover. And speaking of this big huge box in front of me, because I want to kind of like push this aside and oh no, that's not what it is. Oh, never mind. That's not, it's not related. I had to. So let me get back on Blade. I thought I had purchased some artwork, some original artwork of by this artist in Night Stalkers, but he's yet to come in. I've got to have that to show you guys one of these days soon. So my bad about getting excited about something, but I don't have it yet. Um, and then finally, in relation to uh, X-Men 97, of course, this is X-Men from the 1990s. This is the story where Magneto pulls the adamantium out of Wolverine. This is the issue where it happened in X-Men number 25 from back in the 1990s, probably the mid 90s, about 96 or so. And so, yeah. And very much like it happens in the cartoon X-Men 97. Yeah, that they're doing a good Disney's doing a bang smash up job on X-Men 97. Please watch that. I will admit I'm not the biggest X-Men fan. Never have been, even though I've got most of the books. I've just collected them out of GP. But they are doing a phenomenal job with those stories. And the acting is good, the voice acting, the script is well done. It's meaty, it's layered. Uh, there are a lot of heavy, uh, I guess, civil discourse lessons being given in that dialogue. You will enjoy it. It's a hearty watch. It's not just a cartoon. How about that? So anyway, I bought this here. Going to pull this out. This is a Golden Age um, from the 1950s book. This is an anti-communism comic book from the 1950s. And I saw this because I thought it was kind of it's kind of funny how things go around with how views go in circles and cycles these days. So this is anti-communism, and there's some other things going on in government. But I thought I would get something and have that would be from a different time in our nation's history. And I think this is a pretty cool comic book aisle, and it's in pretty good shape. There's a little tear here in the upper corner. There's a little tear, but it never had a cover. This is actually the cover of the book. There's some staining on it as well, but and it wasn't too expensive, but it's one of those propaganda books that was, the anti-red movement back in the 50s, and that I wanted to procure and have uh, that I thought would be a time capsule of how we once thought about things in this country versus now. And so anyway, I won't get too deep into the political realm because it's not important. But this is what I'm going to read back and forth while I'm sitting here. This is a Legends DC Legends of the Legends of the DC Universe. This is with the Atom, and this is number 29, Atom and the Green Lantern. So I've got my bags and boards here. Sure. And let's get to bagging and boarding, because although that book is already bagged and it's already bagged, it's not boarded, and that bag is old. I got some books that fell over, so I got to pick them up. Okay. This. All right. I'm gonna open up the daggone bag. I mean the boards. Do a quick tear. Normally I just have a knife to cut it, but I didn't bring one in here, so I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way by hand. There we go. Got my boards here. I still got my bags here, got my boards. And let's get it. And in fact, I'm gonna do that with that anti-communism book as well. I'm gonna bag and board it. I don't know if it will fit because these are modern. I was showing you before about the difference between current. I don't know if that one will fit, if these bags and boards will fit with that old book, because that's a golden age book. And the difference between golden age and current books from the current books would be considered from mm, probably 1975 or so. 1975 or would be considered, or early 70s would be considered modern age, uh, ish, ish. So, but the books were smaller. The books are smaller than the Golden Age books. The Golden Age books are bigger in size, and so it may or may not fit that book, but we'll see. And I've got my board, my bag, and then let's do this right here. Slip in my. Oh, and these are resealable bags. Huh, let's see here. Do me a favor, come on to work. I love the resealables. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, I should have done it beforehand before I put the bag in. I like the resealables where they have a little strip that you'll have a little strip you can pull off, and I'll show you that allows you to easily like tape your books without tape. The tape is already on the outside, and it makes it safer with your books. You don't have to worry about your book getting snagged on that seat on that adhesive. It's usually pretty user friendly and book friendly as well. So I love the resealables. They're more expensive than regular bags and boards, regular bags, but and so what I do is just go under and take this little strip and pull it. And that's your resealable. And then I just close the door, close the bag up, and that's it. It's bagged and boarded. Resealable bags and resealable bags. A treasure. Now let's see if we can make this work with that old book about communism. And I got to be careful with this one. So first of all, even just see if the board, if it doesn't fit, if it's too big on the board, then it's going to be too big for, and I won't even try. Oh yeah, as you can see, the book is bigger than the board. So I've got to get golden age. I've got to get a golden age bag and board uh, for this one. I don't have one handy, so I'm just going to put this book away and off to the side gently. And so that's the difference. As I said, the golden age books are slightly larger than the current size books. And so you just need a little. So when you buy older books, if you haven't done if you don't have bags and boards, most of the time they come bagged and boarded. Most of the old books do. But if you get some and find some and they're not, then you will surely have to get golden or silver age bags and boards to accommodate those books of the of that era. So anyway, uh, slip in this board. And I've got some other books. There already, some of these are back and forth, and I'm not going to mess with these yet. I'll just show them to you later because those are pretty decent bags and boards. I got some books here. This is Detective Comics. This is number 1081. I love this cover here. Um, on Detective Comics number 1081. And just pull this. That. And then we've got another. In fact, I'm just going to I am not going to make another bag and board. I'm going to double. When I have more than one book, which in this case I do, uh, I will put them together. When I put the one in the front and one in the back. I can't say, every person who collects books will do this. I it's something I do. Uh, Only time I won't do it is if it's a really, really expensive book, but for a generic, regular cover book, yeah, I'm not going to give it any extra treatment. So, put my tape on and it's ready to be sealed up. All right. So I'm going through a run of Detective Comics here that are being bagged and boarded. So I'm not take out another bag. And this is Detective Comics. This is number 1083. Love this cover by Federici. I think his first name starts with an R, but his last name is Federici. And for some reason, his first it won't come to me, but R. Federici. He was one of the artists that worked with Philip Kennedy Johnson on a book called The Last Gods. Came out about yeah, about 5 years ago. Last Gods. Riccardo Federici, from Italy. If you go on his Instagram page, I follow him on Instagram. That dude's pencils are sick. I mean, he is talented. Riccardo Federici, yeah, he's the man. His pencils are just sick to follow. Watching him do his drawings as he practices and puts things out. He's amazing. I'm looking forward to, even though it's a Disney book. He did an Uncle Scrooge cover that he put on his Instagram page about a week and a half ago. But he did an Uncle Scrooge uh, drawing that is just amazing. I mean, from the pen, he goes through the penciling and then even to the coloring and the inking, and he does it all. And we as fans, we're blessed. We're blessed to have someone of that talent. Uh, Doing his work. I don't know why I put tape on it because this is already anyway. I'll do it anyway. I'll close it anyway with these resealable bags. I'm talking and I'm not really thinking. But yeah, Riccardo Federici is an amazing artist. And let's go with the bag of boards. So this is Black Panther, and of the current run, this is number 9 of Black Panther. And I believe Eve Ewing. Eve Ewing is the writer on this, and the cover artist is Taran. About Taran Clark in the past. Taran Clark is also the uh, cover artist on Flash right now. So he's dipping into both the DC and the Marvel covers. He's a busy man. Taran Clark is a tremendous artist, and like I said, we've talked about Taran in the past. On a regular basis. Um, but this is his cover on Black Panther number 9. And then we've got Blade. This is number 5. This is a variant cover. I'm not sure who the artist is. This is when and Marvel has these artists. They believe they call them part of a team called Stormbreakers. Stormbreakers means kind of sort of they're debuting new artists to work on Marvel books, and these new burgeoning uh, artists that they are being premiered through the Stormbreakers, and they do these different covers, and you'll find them throughout all the titles where they're just doing breaking people's careers, breaking them into the larger publishers of comic books. And so that's how Marvel kind of like debuts new artists their into mm, their publishing process. And so just really cool. So that's and I guess the name of the artist I'm seeing it on the front is C.F. Via. CF Via. Whoever that is, but thank you, Mr. Via, for the cover. Ready? And and we've got Mace Windu, #2. And I love this cover. And I've not read these yet. I can't wait to get into these. I've got to read these Mace Windu. I've not read any Mace Windu books that I have, and I've got every single one from the time in Dark Horse till now, and I've not read one of them. I'm ashamed to say, but one of these days I'm going to put my Mace Windu books together, and I'm going to read them all and enjoy my read time. And then after that, I know that one from Dark Horse is kind of sort of like a black and white ish. It's kind of black and white with a tinge of it's almost like a tinge of brown, but it's mostly a black and white, almost like sketchy cover with a very faint light brown around Mace's skin color. And but it's one of my favorite Mace Windu books and covers that I'm going to get that one graded. And I don't want it to be I want it to stay in its pristine shape. I'll get the I'll get one of these where did I put it? Um, top loaders. One of the top loaders, like that Doom book it was in the top loader at the top of the show. Yeah, I'll probably get a top loader for that Mason Williams book. And again, these are top loaders, these heavy plastic, thick, that are used to protect your books um, without having to get them graded. But whatever state it's in that state, and it will stay that way pretty well as long as you've got we got them in top loaders. And so if you don't want to pay for getting your books graded, but you want to maintain your high level books in the best way and the best protectant as possible, top loaders are a way to go. You just have to use caution when you're putting your books in there, have them bagged and boarded before you slide it into the top loader. Uh, because that way maintain it will maintain the integrity of the book. The bag and board will maintain the integrity of the book while you put it into and slide it into a top loader. And so that's the best way to go. It's like a double protective. And then I've got Mandalorian. I love this cover here because I'm a big fan of my man Moff Gideon. You can't see him because he's way too high, but I love Moff Gideon, and I love what Giancarlo Esposito was doing uh, as Moff Gideon. And so and if you didn't know, Rodney Barnes on uh, is also writing The Mandalorian and has been. And so I think there are 2 volumes out of The Mandalorian, but Rodney Barnes is writing all of them. Um, and so again, you may want to try to find some of these things. And if you have a favorite artist or a favorite writer, which is what I do. I've been, I follow different writers, um, Rodney being one of them. I typically buy everything that he puts out. So glad to be able to do that. And then I've got this amazing Spider-Man #43 again. So what's going to do? We're going to do what I did before. Where to go? Yep. I'm going to double it up. No, I didn't realize. I didn't know I had. Well, now I know I've got 2 copies of it. Can't remember where I bought this one from, but anyway, this one has its own tape saying Amazing Spider-Man or whatever, but I am not going to I'm not going to waste an opportunity. I might tear this stupid tape label. It's not being very cooperative. Yeah, yeah. And then it's the stupid paper tear or yeah, sticky tear. So this has got to go. This is just trash to go up here. But anyway, pull the board out just a little bit to help it ease the new or book in and seamless slide through. So two copies of Amazing Spider-Man number 43. This is on the latest run. I think this is volume 6 of Amazing Spider-Man. Uh, they it's terrible that they keep starting Spider-Man over and over time. Every time they get a new writer on the book, they restart the numbering. Anyway, so people can say they have an Amazing Spider-Man number 1, but don't nothing beat the 1960s Amazing Spider-Man number 1 for value. I mean, people can say you've got an Amazing Spider-Man number 1, but you've watered down the volume or the value, and you watered down the value and increased too much volume. You keep making Amazing Spider-Man. They've got 6 different versions of Amazing Spider-Man, and then you got variant covers on Amazing Spider-Man number 1. It's just okay. Come on, Marvel, whoever else, and because DC does it too. Just restarting books on the numbering is a little anyway tiresome. So let me get off my soapbox, and then we've got Miles Morales number 18. This is just a plain black and white spider book cover, but this is a milestone book for Miles, even though it says number 18 again with these renumbering, but this is a 300th issue for Miles Morales. So Miles has been around long enough to have had 300 issues of his book, or that's of him as Spider-Man, Miles, out there. So this is a 300th anniversary or issue uh, book. So had to have that one. I'm a huge Miles fan. Um, and so that's a handsome cover too. It's a black and white cover, this black and white uh, spider for Miles. And bag and boarded. And again, I don't know why I'm doing with the tape when it's already, I'm not thinking again. Easy to do when running your mouth. So let me just pull out a bunch of boards. Wait, I don't have to fight and waste your time because it feels like a waste of time to me when I'm trying to fight for these stupid boards. And so I've got another uh, Miles number 18. This is the A cover for number 18 with Miles. And it looks like he's fighting the Taskmaster. I might be wrong on that, but that's what it looks like on that cover. Yeah, I might be wrong about that, but it surely looks like the Taskmaster to me. But the face is kind of covered. And I can't quite tell if that's a skull or not, but the colors surely look like Taskmaster to me. And so, and it looks like he's in a sword fight. So, off the top of my head, I'm going to guess Miles is fighting the Taskmaster. on the cover of that book. And then we've got Miles number 10. That's a cool cover. That action, with the way the streaks are depicting the action as it looks like he's chasing a speedster. It's really cool. I like that cover. Uh, and normally it would be bagging and boarding and beer, but it's early on a Sunday morning. It's still it hasn't quite reached 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not drinking beer. I still have that not at this early in the morning. I still have that I guess that standard of not drinking unless it maybe mimosas, but not drinking before 12. Especially I'm not going to drink beer before 12. I still have that standard. Yep. You know, being 56 years on this planet, maybe not 56 years of drinking, but since the age of 19, uh, yes, I was drinking illegally. But since the age of 19, maintain that standard. I'm not going to drink until, noontime. So it's done me well so far. And I guess I'll maintain that. And even though I keep using this tape on these stupid books, uh, it makes me think, have I been drinking? Because I'm surely not paying attention. That is too funny. But no, I'm just running my mouth. So anyway, let's do this for World's Finest, number 25. And this, I believe, this is a culmination story or one of the big ramp up. It's either a big ramp up or a culmination for Mark Waid as the writer. I think this was like a vampire story with Batman and Superman. This book has been really good. I've read like one or two in the probably since like number 18 or something like that. But it's Mark Waid is again an old school writer, but has been around for a long time. But he's killing it. And he's done a fantastic job on World's Finest. If you're talking about good reading, if you want, if and you a reliable writer, Mark Waid, trust me, if you're going to buy a book that he's written, you're going to enjoy the quality of the writing. So much fun to read, and yeah, he's always great, and he's always very gracious when you meet him in person. I think I told you if you look at my Baltimore Comic Con from 2023 show, where I had books signed by him, and he again, he's just a gracious uh, writer. He does it for the love of the hobby and the craft of the hobby, the craft of writing, and also the craft and love of comic books. He's been in it for a long time, over 30 years. Over 30 years he's been writing, I believe. And it just does a bang smash up job with everything that he does. This is Fantastic Four number 18. It looks like the thing is about to play baseball with a telephone pole and an incoming meteor. I hope the telephone pole holds up because that's a hell of a fastball he's going to take a swing at with a telephone pole. A meteor with a telephone pole. We'll see how well that works out. But anyway, uh, Alex Ross is the cover artist on this Fantastic Four run. This is the latest Fantastic Four volume, and I'm not sure what volume it is. It's probably like 5 or 6 as well on Fantastic Four. Probably maybe even more than that. Maybe even volume 8. I'm not absolutely sure, but it's crazy the amount that these volume restarts are out there. And so, are these all? Let's see here. So, since I'm got no, 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 we're talking about Mark Waid, and I've got books that are older here that I need to get in boards and bags that Mark Waid. And I bought them specifically, one, because Mark Waid wrote them, and two, uh, because they were cheap. And that is this his run from the 1980s on Ka-Zar. So this is Ka-Zar number one from the 1980s, probably like 88 or 87. And I don't have my eyeballs on to say for sure. Yeah, to look at because I can't see that well. But this is Ka-Zar number one, probably in like 87, 88. And so that is just about almost, we're working on close to 35 years ago or longer with Ka-Zar number one. And Mark Wade was the writer on this book at the time. Uh he started out as the writer, and I'm trying to see if I can find the artist on this because back in those days they didn't put the writer on the cover of the book too much back in those days. Uh the artist would sometimes initial off or sometimes have a little signature autograph on the bottom of their artwork on the cover. But at that time, putting the they weren't really putting the cover right on the cover the name of the writer back in those days. And I'm befuddled that I can't find it. Anyway, let me bag and board it. So Ka-Zar number one, done by or written by Mark Wade. And bag this one. And if you choose to, I mean, if you're a fan of Ka-Zar, um, why not? These books are dirt cheap. They can be fun for absolutely. They're going to be great reads with Mark Wade, and so you can't really miss. I mean, you've got it. You can get a ton of these books for cheap, and enjoy a great story as well, and great artwork. Because on this one, the next one, in number two, or is it a variant? No, it's a variant on number one. And yeah, debut issue. Yeah, so it's a variant by Andy Kubert. Andy Kubert is the cover artist on this one. And it's still a number one of this on this run on Ka-Zar by Mark Wade. And it's just a variant. Really cool to have that as well. So still two Ka-Zar number ones. And then we've got number two coming up here. And another Andy Kubert cover. Andy Kubert being the son of old school artist Joe Kubert, who used to have it back in the days when we were growing up. He used to have the Kubert Art School advertisements and comic books for Joe Kubert. He was known for doing Sergeant Rock and a lot of other uh, World War II and war comic books in the early 70s. Andy is the son, one of the sons. He has two, Andy and oh, I can't think Andrew and oh shoot. I can't think of the other, but Adam Kubert. Andy and Adam Kubert are his two sons. So and they are comic book artists as well. They followed in their father's footsteps, and they're really good. They're really good artists, as you can see. They've done well, and they don't have their father's uh, style of art. Now they have their own style, and even the two brothers, their styles are divergent. They're not the same either. They don't their artwork looks different. So how they see the world, even though they're brothers and the sons of their father, they have a different view of the world. So This is really cool. And so I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to bag these up and then we'll end the show when I finish bagging these up. And this is number three. And I'll try to rush through to get these done as quickly as possible. I'm trying to figure out how Ka-Zar is enjoying that snow with no clothes on. It doesn't look too cool, or it's too cool, or it is too cool, or too cold with the daggone uh fighting in the snow with no shirt on. I don't know how well that fight is going to go for him, or how long. So definitely out of his element. And so we got Ka-Zar number four, break cover. Yeah, you can go through if you can find these. You can either do them on eBay. I think I yeah, because these are I think I bought these on eBay. Uh, again, dirt cheap, uh, very affordable, and you can either go to your local comic book store or go on eBay, and when you put in your search, uh, like Ka-Zar or a lot Ka-Zar comic books or whatever, LOT, a lot. And then you see, your group of books, like us, all in the same series of whatever you're looking for. And sometimes they're not in the same series, but sometimes you get lucky, like I did, and I found this whole lot of Ka-Zar books from the 1980s done by Mark Wade. And as soon as I found out that Mark Wade was the writer on these books, I deliberately, made a purchase of these books, and was, of course, pleasantly surprised that it was dirt cheap. And so, yeah, jumped on that quickly. Gotta pull out some more boards. So here on issue number six is where they begin to put the, as we see now, on modern comic books, the way when we buy new comic books now, the name of the or the last name of the writer, then the artist, and then the sometimes the inker or whatever the case may be. But in this case, you got Mark Wade, this person named Rinaldi, and Cabrera. And so yeah, so here in issue number six, whatever year that was, as you can see, they've start the trend of finally putting the writer's name on the cover of the book. That was not the case. As I said beforehand, never, you never saw the names of the writer on books before around this time period in the early in the 80 before 19 probably 88 70 you would not find it's hard to find that where the writer and artist are on the cover intentionally like giving credit to them. And maybe that's something that the writers and the artists of that time finally got tired of some of these publishers taking advantage of them and got some publishing notoriety. So God bless them for the struggles that they've gone through to get the recognition that they deserve for these great stories they've been putting out for years, uh, without really getting any, like no getting that without getting any true recognition for their work. Um, it's up the publishers and and God blesses and rest his soul, Stan Lee. He's trying to put his name and image and likeness on every damn thing that was Marvel. You know, even though he didn't write a lot of the stuff. He started out pretty much of a heavy hitter and transformed. He was even the creator of Doctor Doom. Um, But yeah, he took credit or tried to give the appearance of taking credit for a lot of the content that a lot of different writers and artists did, and that they had major beef with Stan and some of the other publishers as well, because it's not just Stan Lee. You had like a Julie Schwartz and all kinds of all kinds of the different early editors and publishers and of DC and Marvel books. Um, you can even look at the history of the writer and artist of Superman and how DC, for a long time took a major advantage of Jerry Siegel and Schuster. Uh, didn't want to pay him their money. I mean, it wasn't until the 70s movie, the first Superman movie, when they finally really started giving them uh, Siegel and Schuster some credit for creating Superman. But that was a you think about the time that Superman was created in the late 1930s till 1970 something. That's 40 years, in which DC got paid for that creation and didn't want to recognize Siegel and Schuster. Look up the history. And they did some dirty pool. I mean, those publishers back in the day of magazines, yeah, they didn't always take care. In fact, most time it was mass producing and mass publishing. And those artists and writers were working their tails off. I mean, to the bone. Oh, this one's got some water damage. Ooh, this is badly damaged in water. This is issue number 9. Yeah, it's got some serious water damage. You can tell as soon as you pick it up, the pages are almost gross like. Anyway, someone was reading it on the toilet or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna have to replace this one. This is badly damaged by water. But issue number 9. So thankfully these days, um, the artists and the writers are better taken care of than it used to be back in the day. It's a shame that those artists and those guys had to do that. It's almost like in order to really make money, um, one, you had to work your tail off. I mean, I think the amount of work that they put out, and the amount of different books. You can even look at a lot of those great artists back in the day, Wally Wood, Matt Baker, uh, Schomburg. Uh, those cats, man. I mean, and tons more. I'm leaving out a ton of them. Frazetta, you name it. But I mean, the quantity of work, and it was high quality too. The quantity of work that they had to put out to keep up with the publishing requirements and the pace. Jack Kirby, you name it. Neil Adams, Jim Steranko. Just I mean, and these are monsters so far as the quality of artwork. I mean, if you look at the quality of artwork now compared to then, and with the tools that they had, with paper and ink or whatever, and paper and ink, and that's it. There was no computer graphics or whatever to help. None of that. It was straight plain art, old school artwork, and they worked their tails off, straight up. So you got to give credit where to the ancestors where it's due. Again, a lot of the publishing companies, a lot of them were mob related to the mob. Yeah, mob had to find some kind of way to launder their money, um, and so that was another way too, without having to pay a whole lot to the workforce. But the comic book business and horror horror magazines and whatever, It was big time money. It was money that could be made and launder off criminal sources, criminal resourcing. Just being real, man. Just telling the truth. And that's how you got those unscrupulous deals back in the day. It was dirty business. And but thankfully, those guys, those persons, men and women, those men and women involved in the comic book business industry over the years, uh, they they still continue to put out a high quality product for us, and we are the recipients of that, of their hard work. And I'm blessed to say, I was raised by folks who loved comic books, people who were like my mother's age, people who were born in the 20s and after the fact. But they loved comic books and past that love of comics and you know golden age heroes, be it pulp heroes like the Shadow or Doc Savage or Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon or uh, you name it, even Captain America or and even Batman and whatever the Spectre, you name it, that were out back in those days. Um, I've been blessed to have those influences and even seen some of that artwork and stuff, or have them tell me about those characters that I could find them later on. And it's been a good life. I can't complain. Yes, I could find one to complain, but it's a good life. And some kind of way, ancestors, be it the publishers and the writers and the publishers and the mob, or even there's a mobster. I mean, that ain't the life I want to have. Hell no, no. So not to knock a mobster, but that ain't no kind of living. Life is in danger all the time. No, I guess in a way, people might say my skin color is in danger, makes me in danger, but I'm surely not going to accentuate it by doing a crime. Shoot. So hard enough. I don't need to, I don't need to help it along. So anyway, I think I've got maybe mm, I might stop early and just do this on the side because now I'm rambling and I'm having fun with y'all. But stalked by the Punisher, man. Anyway, I'm having fun with y'all, but I need to wrap this up. I know that I'm taking an exponentially. I'm aware of the amount of time that's passing by, and I'm having a great time in conversing with you. And I hope you're enjoying me. Uh, but I have to be respectful of your time that you're giving them. So I'm going to get ready to wrap up. I think this is going to be my last one of Ka-Zar. And I forgot to recognize by this time the writer changed to Priest, to Christopher Priest. Uh, and I can't let me go back and see what book he took over on. That's Wade still. Wade is still on number 10. So number 11. Oh, I forgot to even show man when he's number 11 when he's fighting Thanos. Man, I've been rambling my lips for a while. Uh, Number 12 when he's taking on the High Evolutionary. Number 13, he's still there. And I know it's got to be soon now. Okay, so number 14, Number 14 is when Priest takes over the writing, Christopher Priest. And I bring that up because Christopher Priest was the one who did the is is notarized for his run. Well, first he worked in Milestone Comics. He was a writer for Milestone. And then after that, when he left from Milestone or did it in conjunction while doing Milestone, worked in Marvel as well. Obviously on Ka-Zar, because I'm just showing you that. But he is mostly known for his run on Black Panther. He was the one who created the Agent Ross that we know in the movies, in the Black Panther movies with Agent Ross. Uh, what is he? What is he? He was one of he did the first crossover between Black Panther and Deadpool. Uh, Christopher Priest has been writing again, you know, incredible writer. Um, his writing is very meaty. Uh, he gives you heavy plot lines and writing in the books. Um, so yeah, he's been around for a long time, and he's still doing. I mean, he's currently writing on Vampirella, believe it or not. So his his style to adjust to the characters is diverse. I mean, he did the writing on Black Adam uh, as the Black Adam movie was coming out. It- say what you want about the movie, whatever, but Priest was the writer on those books during that time. And did a smash up job as well. He's been around for a long time. Suggest you look up books that Christopher Priest has written, and of course, Ka-Zar being one of those early books for Marvel. And then again, he did work for Milestone, and I want to say it may have been Hardware. Don't shoot the messenger because I might be wrong on this one, but I want to say Hardware is when he did some writing as well. We can Google that up and I'll correct myself in the edits as well. But I will show, I just got a few more books left at Bag and Board, but I'll just show you what they are and I'll get to them off camera. And this is number 17, number 18, number 19, 20, and then finally an annual of Ka-Zar. So I'll bag and board those and off camera. And I'm going to say I appreciate you guys spending time with me. I hope you didn't hope it didn't piss anybody off with my rambling. And then with my rambling, I got, as you see, I got discombobulated even with the taping, let alone showing you the books because I'm just talking and bagging and boarding without showing you the books. So I apologize for that. But I really enjoyed being with you. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up and stay tuned and retune again with Two Ski Geeks as we keep you geeked up about comics. And we'll holler at you later. Peace.